Welcome to Auction version 4, the latest event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this tutorial in the Event Night series, I will show you the Event Night Invoices activity. Invoices are used for checkout on Event Night. Invoices include any financial obligations such as cash donations and item purchases. Invoices also include any payments received thus far and the net balance due from the guest. Invoices do not include item or in-kind donations because those types of donations do not affect the balance due. Statements would include item donation information, but on Event Night, a simple invoice is what is called for to have a quick and efficient checkout process. While invoices can always be printed from the Documents task, we have made it easy to get to the type of invoice you need for checkout on Event Night by adding that action to the Event Night task. Well before your actual event, save your preferences for your Event Night invoice as a preset. To do this, please go to the Documents task on the main Home task bar and choose Name and then pick Invoice. Create an invoice for how you want invoices to look at your Event Night and then save that format as one of your presets. To print invoices on Event Night, click the Invoices Action button, or if you're already in the Winning Bid area, there is an Invoice button on that task ribbon too that takes you directly to the Event Night Invoice area. This is the Event Night Invoices screen. The list of people that need invoices is on the right, and since this is the Event Night task, Auction has generated this list of people based on certain criteria. The first criteria is the name type. Auction has chosen bidders and participants. The next criteria is based on some pre-established filters. The first filter is whether the bidder or participant has purchases, and specifically item purchases. In most cases, there is no need to print an invoice for anyone who has not purchased any items, as it would be a waste of time and paper. However, if some people have not paid for their tickets in advance and will need to pay at checkout, you could click the Ticket Purchase button, and those people that have ticket purchases, even though they have no item purchases, will be added to the list of names on the right. Auction has also added a filter for quick checkout, but included everyone who passed the first filter by selecting people who have quick checkout and those who don't have quick checkout. If you have the ability to do credit card sync and have already synced with the credit card processor, you may want to first print invoices for people who do not need to go to the cashier. You have already got their credit card info and told Auction who these people are in the automatic sync. So uncheck the manual quick checkout and standard checkout buttons. Then print the invoices for people who do not have credit card on file by checking the automatic quick checkout to uncheck it and clicking the standard checkout button to select it. These people must go to the cashier to pay their balance due. And lastly, there's a filter for print status. Print status for invoices means show only the people who have been selected by the previous filter who have not had an invoice already printed. If you've already printed an invoice once for a person and no additional purchases or payments have been entered for that person since, they will no longer be in this list on the right. Another filter you may want to add is balance due from guest and choose non-zero. This will limit the list on the right to people who fit all the previous filters and who still have a balance due. You have the ability to change the list of name criteria by clicking the Select Names button and choosing a different set of criteria. Notice the Event Night with item purchases is the first choice, which is where you started out. But you can choose to see people who have new purchases or payments, or people whose invoices have already been printed, and Auction will filter that to today's date. So if you need another copy of someone's invoice that has already been printed, this is the way to see that name in the list on the right. You can also see people with just ticket purchases, people with a balance due greater than 0, or guests with no purchases. Next, you'll need to select the format for the look of the invoice itself. Auction will give you a choice of choosing the default format, or if you've already printed an invoice of any kind, it will give you the choice of last printed. And finally, if you've saved a format, a custom format you created in the Documents area, that will be one of your choices too. If the custom format you saved had a different name selection criteria than you just picked in the previous step, choosing your custom format will overwrite that name criteria. You will need to select the name criteria again if you prefer, but you will not need to reset your custom document format again. If you are a network user, it is important to keep in mind that if someone on another computer on your network picks a different invoice format since you last printed on your computer, and you choose last printed as the format choice, it will choose their format, not yours, because their last printed is more recent than your last printed. Once you have your correct list of names on the right and the correct format selected, if you wish to print the invoices in batch, decide the order you want the invoices to print. By default, the invoices will print in alphabetical order by last name. However, if you prefer to print the invoices in numerical order by bid number, click the Bid Numbers column heading once to sort lowest to highest, or twice to print highest to lowest. To print or preview an invoice for just one person in the list, click on that person's name so it's highlighted, and click Preview Selected or Print Selected. You can also print the invoice for just one person in the list by right-clicking on their name in the list on the right, and from the pop-up menu choose Print Selected. To print or preview a group of invoices that are in order in the list, click on the first person in that group, then hold down your Shift key and click the last person. This will highlight the first person you clicked, and the last person you clicked, and everyone in between. Then click Preview Selected or Print Selected. To pick a bunch of names that are not in order, click the first person and then hold down your Control key and click the other names to select just those names and not the names in between. You can also click Print Next 10, and auction will start at the top of the list and print the first 10 records, all of them, highlighted or not. Clicking the Print Next 10 again will send the next 10 names in the list to the printer. If you want to print more than one copy of the invoice for each person, be sure to indicate that in the Copies window. If you wish to print more than one copy of an invoice for each person, you can choose to uncollate, and you will get a stack of each invoice for everyone, and then it will print another stack for each person, etc. If you choose collate, it will print all the copies of the first person's invoice and then go to print all the copies of the second person's invoice. The next tutorial in the Event Night series will be for checking in guests. Thank you for joining us.